So the Vax Watch, right, this protest by Nick Fuentes is something that is supposed to be moving the needle towards the right, basically making the government relent on its stranglehold on people's civil liberties, basically because obviously it's gone too far. That being said, did it do what it was supposed to? Was it effective? Was it even made right? That's the question. Now, we do have a set guide list of rules, and that's probably because they do need to have the rules so that they're not held liable for a bunch of stupid shit. So they have a lot of infrastructure behind this. Okay, they've been planning it for weeks, right? So when we look at a panorama, Nick was hyping it up as if it was going to have thousands of people there. But if we look here, off of this really tiny picture, it's not looking like a lot of people in the panorama. And honestly, it wasn't that many. Now, when we look back at the Telegram, we can look right now and see that he's posting a bunch of stuff about it. So, he's really hyping it up. So, he did feel like it was a success, apparently. So, here we are with the I will not comply. Now, one criticism I have right off the jump was that at the stage, there was a couple of boomer moms, of course, fat, obese white women, very annoying, added absolutely nothing to the event. And I'm not sure why he let them speak in the first place. Okay, so then we have Jaden introduce Nick, whatever. So we have this going on. The speech was pretty boring, but it got the points through. And of course, we have the AF flag, the Libertarian flag, whatever. All right. Now, we go down and it makes. So this picture right here is interesting because it makes it look like there's a lot of people. But when you look at the pictures that are zoomed out, so like the panorama, there was maybe 150 people tops, right? And people are talking about, there's people in the third party platforms covering this, but not many people are actually watching this outside of Band.video or America First.live. I mean, this didn't really get the message out, okay? All right, so let's go down here. So we have an actual anti-vaccine mandate Vax Watch reference, and hopefully that article will go into further detail about the statistics about this. So Daily Veracity, which I don't know anything about, has a rally here with 100 attendees. Okay, so 100. This is embarrassing. Why? Well, Nick would only upload pictures that would show the crowds as being big. So part of the reason why you would want a big crowd is to solidify the message of there's a lot of us that really care about this virus. But if it's only 100 people in the entire state of Illinois coming over here, then that's not really a good idea. That's not a good optic. So here we have some of the people. Again, this is like 95% of the people that went to the rally are in this picture. As you can see, it's probably 4 to 6 people in a line, and there's like less than 20 lines. So there's maybe 150 tops, right? So that is that. And then insofar as the article is concerning, they're saying that Nick had 100 people over. Maybe they could be lying. Maybe it was 150. Maybe it was 200. But ultimately, not a big deal either way. It was way less than you'd expect. Okay. So yes, it completely underperformed insofar as turnout, and that's pretty embarrassing. And we're gonna read Nick's Twitter, or what some people say is an alt, but whatever. And we're going to be covering this. Okay. So Nick said he would rather die than getting the vaccine, which is retarded. But ultimately, I understand what he's getting at. But okay, let's look over here. Insofar as the coverage of the rally, he's still hyping it up, right? Now look right here. Right here, I will not comply. This did actually happen. This is pretty funny. This was a bad look to have. These obese old white people, they're not even groypers, these MAGA boomers. Just embarrassing, okay? We don't like that. Okay? Now, insofar as the drama around the Groyper Generals, I like that because it makes it entertaining. Because the event itself was pretty boring, and Nick didn't even show up until like an hour and a half into the event, as far as I know. Okay, and so he's clowning on Patrick Casey, which is fine. I don't like him. He's a bitch, even though he was right about some certain things. And we're reading the tweet, and he's just shitting on people hating on him, not necessarily him backing up the rally. It seems like a complete failure. The way he was hyping up the whole rally, it was like basically saying, oh, we're going to move the needle. This is going to actually be like Groyper Wars 2.0. This is going to be big. They're going to be talking about it on the news. But in reality, no major publication covered this. Not the New York Times, not the Chicago Times, if there were one. I mean, daily veracity, I don't even know what that is. And if you look here, there's less than 2,000 followers, okay? So when you're talking about one of the first major anti-vaccine mandate protest in America kicks off, it's only 100 people. That's nothing. More people form in France, which is a fraction of our population, on a daily basis about a myriad of different issues, as well as Germany, and they're further gone politically than we are. So if you want to get a actual numerical breakdown of how big of a deal the VaxWatch thing was, as you can see here, I'm comparing Ben Shapiro to Nick Fuentes. Now, I'm only doing this because these are both conservative commentators that are like in the same orbit, but aren't obviously politically aligned, but are both right winger. Basically both right wingers on the internet. Now, Ben has been around longer, but I'll just say it as it is. Nick has constantly been below Ben, and that's to be expected. I don't blame Nick. Nick is like 12 years younger, not a big deal. But if you look over here into the past 12 months, you can see that Nick has been flatlined. So ever since Groyper War, he's just not hit the peak, okay? And if you look even further back to 5 years ago, Nick's absolute peak apparently was around the fall and winter of 2019, which was Groyper War, right? And even then, he was still getting trumped on by Ben. So Ben got all sorts of shit on. Okay, and we move on to the last 12 months, right? So the last year, you can see Nick is flatline. So this VaxWatch thing did not move the needle at all, as far as I know. No, it really didn't. But if we just look at Nick by himself, I'll be more honest, or not honest. I'll just be more fair. Okay, I'll toss him a bone, and we'll say, okay, how is Nick doing compared to himself, right? So let's go ahead and do that. When we refresh, you can already see right off the jump, based off of the 5-year projection, that Nick peaked in 2019, okay? Then you can say he went back up again around January 6th, the riot, he was mentioned in the impeachment, okay. Still not as big as Groyper War. And then when you look at the next peak, July of 21, I don't remember precisely what happened then, but he got 100. I think that was AFPAC 2, maybe. Anyways, the VaxWatch, which happened very early October, he's at a 7. So he maybe went up. If you look at the last 3 months, I mean, this is not looking good for him. This did not move the needle at all. If you look at the meetup he did at Laguna Beach, which was last minute, with the Groypers in Orange County or in SoCal, he got more people to show up there allegedly than he did at the VaxWatch, which he hyped up for like 3 weeks before the event happened itself. So by that logic, I would say that Nick failed. I honestly think that the VaxWatch protest, albeit with good intentions, it did nothing. It seems to me ever more so that Nick is pandering or only getting the same audience over and over again. So he's not making any new followers or fans. I don't really blame him for this, again, because of the internet censorship. But that being said, it's not looking like he's expanding his audience base like he was during the Groyper War. That was when he was still on YouTube, I believe. But even still, given the fact that he does not seem to want to expand, or the fact that he tries to set up something and it fails, I mean, I don't see the big potential in him right now, or at least in the protests as they are. Now, I don't hate Nick, but the point is that I think that maybe he was too boiled down on attacking nobodies on the internet, complete fags like Culture War Criminal and Red Pill Gaming, that he probably could have prioritized doing more stuff along the lines of IRL stuff so that he could have built a better repertoire by the time he made the first big protest, like in the VaxWatch for Illinois, where he only got 100 people. And if he really wanted to move the needle, he would have needed over 1,000, and Nick made it seem like at least 400 people would have showed up, and apparently it was less than 250. So just based off of the fact that it didn't get much done at all, it didn't really enter the political zeitgeist, and Nick really didn't get anything out of it personally other than maybe a couple, maybe $15,000 out of it, maybe. Not that that's really a bad thing. I don't really see this as a big win, and so the rally itself, in terms of the event of the day, was pretty uninteresting. I think his speech was pretty mediocre as well. So because of that, I'm going to rate the VaxWatch a 3 out of 10. I mean, it was just ineffective and not very good quality in terms of speeches. The roster of people that showed up, Just did not live up to the hype. Okay, because of that, I'm gonna rate it a 3 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. And again, I'm not hating on the Groypers. Okay, I'm just saying there's some flaws, and the censorship is really hitting you guys hard, as it is for me. I'm not benefiting at all from the algorithm. That being said, comment down below what you think. Okay. Anyways, in terms of the RPG stuff and the cultural war criminal kind of confrontation, I already talked about that on my live stream like a week ago or a couple days ago. So based off of that, I'm not going to mention it. So watch that if you're interested. If not, then I'm going to leave now. Okay. Thank you.